State Senator Sonia Chang-Diaz from the 2nd Suffolk. Thank you. Fellow Democrats, we're here to nominate a governor, and I've got one in mind. I want to nominate a man that I have known for many years. I want to nominate a proven leader, but a leader with a fresh perspective beyond Beacon Hill. I want to nominate a visionary whose whole career has been about setting goals that others said were impossible, and then exceeding them. A visionary whose watchwords are big and bold, not timid or incremental. I want to nominate not just an entrepreneur who started a small nonprofit and grew it into a global organization with 125 employees, but also an executive who never laid off an employee, even during the Great Recession. I want to nominate a doctor who sat in the Oval Office and counseled a president as the head of Medicare, an agency larger than the Pentagon, but also one who sat in a pediatrician's office and treated children regardless of their parents' ability to pay. And I want to nominate a man. I want to nominate the bold progressive that Massachusetts longs for, the kind of leader that we long and hope for, a leader who is committed to social justice, who's unafraid to speak the truth, and who has a record of getting results. My fellow Democrats, I want Don Berwick to be the next governor of this Commonwealth, and I proudly nominate him. I proudly nominate him to be the standard bearer of our Democratic Party, Don Berwick.
Thanks. Thank you, Sonia. You're one amazing leader. And thank you, Democrats. It's an honor to stand here today. I want to start with a story. It's about a young man, a patient of mine. I'll call him Isaiah. I think of him often. I met Isaiah when he was 15 years old. He was a kid from Roxbury. He was in room 4, and he was writhing in pain. As it turned out, he had leukemia. Leukemia is often fatal in a black teen, but not that time. We pulled out all the stops. We walked a 4-year tightrope. He had a bone marrow transplant, and modern medicine cured Isaiah. His leukemia never came back. But there's more. Isaiah smoked his first pot at age 5. He had his first gun at age 10. At 12, he stole a car. The view from his house was vacant lots and drug dealers on the corner. He was in and out of trouble his whole life, in and out of addiction, even while we were treating his cancer. Once, when he was 17 years old, Isaiah said to me, he said, "Dr. Berwick, I think that my leukemia is a blessing, because when I'm in the hospital, at least I can't be on the streets." And then one dark night, 15 years after his leukemia was cured, Isaiah died. He died on the streets, in despair. He was overtaken by hopelessness. Isaiah had 2 lethal diseases. We cured one, leukemia. The other killed him. Its name is injustice. It is inequality. It is poverty, and yes, it's racism. I see his face every day. Every day I ask myself the same question. Today, would Isaiah die again, or would he live? I want to be your governor so that today Isaiah would live. Now look, when my organization said that we could save tens of thousands of lives by making healthcare safer, people said it was impossible. But we mobilized nearly every hospital in America, and in 18 months we did it. Our president asked me to lead the fight to make healthcare a human right at last in America. In 30 years of executive leadership, I have never, ever shied away from bold goals, and here is one bold goal: save Isaiah. Massachusetts, we can do what we decide to do. We're the first state to make healthcare a human right. We're the first state to say you can marry the person you love. We're leading the nation in clean energy. But we are not done. We have a pledge yet to keep, the pledge that we made again this morning. We said, with liberty and justice for all. All means all. All includes Isaiah. It is not liberty for all when one among us sleeps hungry, as 3,000 Massachusetts children will tonight, when 4,000 families are homeless. It isn't liberty for all when one among us works 40 or 50 hours a week and can't make ends meet for her family. It isn't justice for all when a person struggling with addiction or mental illness is slammed into a prison and forgotten. And it is neither liberty nor justice when we surrender to the myth that if some are to win, others must lose, that in a commonwealth that thrives, Isaiah must die. No, wrong. When injustice wins, no one wins. For a compassionate commonwealth, the answers are clear. Are you hungry? Food. Are you lost? Take my hand. Are you sick? Care. Are you idle? Work. No, union work. The problem is lies. Lies that endanger our nation. It is a lie that those with great wealth have the right to control our future. It is a lie that corporations are people. They aren't. It's a lie that the poor make themselves poor, or that the sick make themselves sick. I am sick and tired of those lies, Massachusetts. Let's point this nation toward truth. No more lies. I say liberty and justice for all, and I cannot wait to ask Charlie Baker and his Republican Party what syllable of the word all they do not understand. I am not scared of Charlie Baker, and neither should you be. He lost once before, and make no mistake, on November 4th, we will defeat him again. Only one thing scares me: timidity. Timidity that stays silent in the face of those lies. Democrats, it is our time. Be brave. This is the time for bold goals, progressive goals, without hesitation or apology, grounded in our values, rooted in our hearts. This is what we do. Remember, this is the party of Ted Kennedy and Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey and the best governor in America, Deval Patrick. This is the state where America began. Do not be afraid. We will prevail because we will reach for what we pledge: liberty and justice for all. All means that we will end hunger and homelessness and poverty in Massachusetts. 3,000 hungry children? No, zero. All means that every single worker has a solid job, a living wage, and a fair share of the American dream. All means handing to my grandchildren a planet free from the grip of fossil fuels. All means unshackling our teachers and our children handcuffed by standardized tests. All means an end to the epidemic of addiction, not by growing prisons or by adding casinos, but by funding treatment. And all means that we in Massachusetts will take the step that status quo politicians have not had the guts to take: Medicare for all, single payer. Isaiah is not gone. He's watching. His eyes are the eyes of the hungry child, the homeless family, the frightened, undocumented worker, the eyes of the woman who wants equal pay, of the man in prison who wants a road back home. He is watching. He's asking, who will help? We will. I say to him, Isaiah, hear our pledge. Hear our promise. As your governor, I swear to you, we will keep that promise. Hear my pledge. All means all. One nation, indivisible, liberty, justice, for all, Isaiah, for all. Thank you, Massachusetts.
Thank you, and hello, Democrats. It's great to be with you here in Worcester. And Democrats, we've got some big shoes to fill. Deval Patrick's been a terrific governor, and we are going to miss him. So here's what I've been thinking. Maybe it's time to replace those shoes with some high heels. As President Clinton said, all elections are about the future. I agree. But right now, I want to talk with you a little about the past. The 2010 Senate election was very painful for a lot of people in this room. I understand how much of your heart and soul was in that race. Mine too. I know how hard so many of you worked in that race, and I thank you for that. That loss was difficult. But I made the decision to get back in the ring, to fight to end DOMA, to fight to keep families in their homes, because I knew there were more families that needed our help. And more families who needed someone on their side to fight for equality, for opportunity, and the values that make us Democrats, the values that make us get back in the ring. That's why I first ran for office, and that's why I'm running for governor. So I promise you this. There is no one who's going to travel more miles, knock on more doors, shake more hands, or make more phone calls than me in this race. There is no one who is going to work harder. And if I earn your support in September, and someone thinks they're going to beat us in this race, they have no idea of the fight they've got on their hands. Hear that, Charlie Baker? Fairness, equality, opportunity for all. Those are the values we stand for as Democrats. And we have a choice. Do we continue to build an economy where everyone gets a fair shot? Or do we change course and let Republicans take us back to an economy that works only for those at the top? Been there, done that. We saw Wall Street gamble with our money our pensions, our houses. They took people's homes. They wrecked our economy. And then they got bailed out, and we did not. And today, Wall Street is doing just fine, but so many working families are still struggling. I met a dad in Plymouth recently with Connor, one of his 2 children. He and his wife had lost their home to foreclosure, but they were optimistic that they were going to be able to buy a house again soon, to invest in their future, their kids. These are the people I fought for my entire life. And now I'm ready with you to take on the biggest battles facing our next governor. We are going to raise the minimum wage and provide earned sick time for all workers. We are going to achieve equal pay for equal work here in Massachusetts. We are going to build an economy on our terms that creates good jobs in every part of the state. We are going to keep Massachusetts at the forefront of addressing climate change. And we are going to make sure every single child gets a quality education, including early education. We are going to be teaching to each child, not just teaching to the test. Recently, I visited Malden High School, where the kids speak over 70 languages. Yay Malden, go Malden! I met with computer science teacher Paul Marks and his students. These kids were so excited about what they were learning, and they said to me, Mr. Marks teaches us how to walk, and we learn how to fly. That's what we want for all of our kids. Our job is to help our kids find a dream and to give them each the chance to follow it. And there's one more thing we will do, and this one is personal for me. My younger brother Edward was bright, funny, a good pianist. At age 17, he began to show signs of depression and bipolar disorder, and for many years, he refused to seek treatment or take medication, fearing that the stigma attached with mental illness would prevent him from getting a job. And the irony of it is, because he didn't get help, he wasn't able to hold a job or maintain relationships. In 1996, shortly after the death of our parents, Edward took his own life. And everywhere I go, people tell me they too had a family member, a friend, or a colleague who suffered from mental illness. When I am governor, we will treat mental and behavioral health the same way we do diabetes or cardiac disease. And no one should suffer in silence any longer. You know, when I got out of law school, I went to work in a big firm, and I realized big corporations were always going to have good lawyers and a powerful voice. I knew I wanted to speak for people who didn't have that voice, and it's why I turned to public service. Now I want to be your voice as governor, to stand up with you, turn this economy around on our terms and create jobs for everyone, no matter where you live. Will you stand up with me? Will you stand with me to give every child a fair shot to reach their potential? Will you stand with me for the basic values of fairness, equality, and opportunity that we Democrats fight for every single day? Will you stand with me to defeat Charlie Baker, who will take us backwards on the progress we've made under Governor Patrick? We can do this. I ask for your support in your vote. Thank you very much, Democrats.
Hello, delegates. Hello, Democrats. This is awesome. Thank you so much. 4 years ago, you honored me with the privilege of leadership. Serving as your treasurer has been one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'm profoundly grateful to all of you because you gave me the opportunity to change people's lives. Keeping promises, solving problems, changing people's lives. That's what my campaign for governor is all about. My goal is to build one Commonwealth that levels the playing field and leaves no one behind. This afternoon, 237,000 of our fellow citizens are out of work. 800,000 people are on food stamps. Almost 1 million people woke up today without a single hour of earned sick time. When I'm governor, I'll change that. Thank you. What makes me proud to be a Democrat every day of my life is that as long as there is a single person anywhere in this Commonwealth who lacks a job, who has lost hope, or been robbed of their dignity, our work is not done. In fact, our work is just beginning. Challenges have always brought out the best in Democrats. Not the easy roads, not the easy issues, not by being timid or by testing the waters. This is no time for part-time progressives. This is about taking a stand. Look around you. We are Democrats. We believe that the most powerful renewable energy is the energy of justice. When it came to marriage equality and transgender rights, Barbara and I were proud to stand with the LGBTQ community because it was the right thing to do. But when Charlie Baker had his chance to be bold for equality, he chose instead to pander to the right wing of his party, and he called a key civil rights law the bathroom bill. Shame on you, Charlie. Shame on you, Charlie. We believe that climate change is one of the great challenges of our time. As governor, I'll build on Deval Patrick's extraordinary record on the environment, and I'll lead the fight to divest our public pension funds from fossil fuels. We believe that the quality of your health care should not depend on the size of your paycheck. I'll strengthen our community hospitals and reform long-term care for all our seniors. And I'll lead the conversation across the state on single-payer insurance. And I'll work with all of you to end discrimination against people with disabilities so they can find jobs and live in their own homes with dignity and independence. That's what it means to build one Commonwealth. One Commonwealth that levels the playing field and leaves no one behind. As your governor, I'll fight for college access and driver's licenses for all our immigrants. I'll fight for common sense limits on gun sales and will always stand strong against the NRA. I won't just fight to raise the minimum wage. I'll fight to create jobs that pay a living wage. You will always know who I am and what I stand for. I'm honored to have worked with Deval Patrick because breaking down barriers, demanding justice, and taking the lead on the toughest issues is what we expect from our governor. That's what it means to be a progressive. That's what it means to be a Democrat. In the words of the prophet Isaiah, if you offer your compassion to the hungry and relieve the oppressed, then shall your light shine in darkness, and you will be known as the repairer of the breach. This is our choice, to care for those in need, to demand social justice, to open the doors of opportunity, to create jobs so that all people can build a life and raise a family. Massachusetts needs another progressive governor, ready to lead with vision and values, heart and hope, courage and compassion. I will be that governor. And you are the army of activists who will make that happen. I'd be deeply grateful for your support and your vote this afternoon. Together, let's build one Commonwealth with equal justice, one Commonwealth that leaves no one behind. On November 4th, I want to be known as the progressive job creator who sent Charlie Baker back to Swampscott. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Worcester City Councilor Sarai Rivera.
Good afternoon and welcome to Worcester. Bienvenido a nuestra ciudad de Worcester. My name is Sarai Rivera, and it's my honor to introduce you today Joe Avellone. Since the age of 4, I've been blessed to call Worcester my home. I'm honored to serve it as a city councilor, but I'm also a clinical social worker, a clergy, and most importantly, I'm a mother. So like many of you here today, I'm committed to making my part of the world a great place to live, work, enjoy, and raise a family. Over the last year, I've watched this campaign unfold, and one has stood out for me, and not because of his political rhetoric, but because his commitment to action. Joe Avellone is about opportunity. He knows how to rejuvenate our gateway cities. He can lead the fight against opiate addiction, make our cities safe, and create thousands of middle-class jobs for our Commonwealth. Massachusetts needs the commitment to opportunity that Joe Avellone brings. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce to you my friend, nuestro amigo, and the next governor of Massachusetts, Joe Avellone, el gobernador del pueblo.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarai, for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for your leadership. I entered this race a year and a half ago, and last year I stood before you speaking of the issues facing our Commonwealth and laid out why I believed I was the right person to be the next governor of Massachusetts. Thank you. Since that time, I've had the privilege of traveling across our Commonwealth listening to voters. And it was through listening to individuals, not large political organizations or moneyed interests, that I learned a very important lesson. If you're governor, you're not just in charge of the Commonwealth. You are providing a voice to each of 6.7 million citizens so they will be heard. Thank you. It's a voice that our citizens need to overcome the difficult challenges in their lives. One of these challenges is the recent tragic epidemic of opiate addiction. It is staggering that the number of addicts has doubled over the last 7 years. I have spoken to families all across our Commonwealth who have suffered because a loved one has been stricken by this terrible disease. I met a young dad from Taunton who was tired of failing his wife and his young son and checked himself into rehab. He brought me to tears as he sat in front of me, distraught and defeated. And he wondered whether he could ever be cured from this horrible disease. It took hundreds of overdoses to get the attention of the media, and only then did a conversation start. Why is that? It's because there's no super PAC for addicts. There's no political gain to be had with this issue, and so it has been ignored. But before the headlines even broke, I had already proposed the creation of an Office of Recovery, because I know that everyone should have a voice, everyone should be heard. During this campaign, I have listened to thousands of citizens tell me of their suffering. I sat down with a single mom right here in Worcester, the heart of our Commonwealth. She had lost her permanent job and now has 2 part-time jobs just to barely put enough food on the table. And she asked me, Joe, is there anyone actually looking out for me? I have also seen the look of anguish on the face of an unemployed dad from Fall River who is trying to catch up with a workforce that he is not trained to join. Who will be his voice? How will he be heard? This past summer, I marched with Boston City Councilor Tito Jackson in Roxbury. We marched with community leaders and families who are fed up with the violence that our children are facing every day in the city streets. There was no press coverage there. There were no other gubernatorial candidates. And as I marched with these families who had already lost so much, I recognized, again, what it really takes to be governor. It is to be the voice of everyone so everyone can be heard. I don't have the connections to well-funded political organizations, and I don't have political IOUs to cash in. But I commit to you that if I'm your next governor, I will fight every single day for every single citizen in our Commonwealth. I don't care if you're from New Bedford, from Lawrence, from Springfield, from Boston. Zip codes will no longer define the opportunities that you'll have in life. I am honored to have the support of 2 of our Commonwealth's greatest mayors, Mayor Joe Petty of Worcester and Mayor Tom Hoy of Taunton. They are on the front lines every single day, and they have placed their trust in me. And I ask today that you do the same and put me on the ballot in September. Together, we as Democrats, the party of inclusion, the party of fairness, the party of equality, will be the voices for those who have struggled to be heard, and they will be heard. Let's end politics as usual. Let's start making a difference. It begins today. Thank you very much. Thank you.